Friends, Sensei Christopher Witecki here. It is Sirius Joy Alive. It is Thursday, January 29th, and it's almost Friday. It's almost Friday. We got a whole show for you and some readings coming right up. I'll see you inside. If you're watching us on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at SiriusJoytv. Please click like on this video, and if you don't mind, hit the bell button so you're notified so we collectively defeat the algorithm overlords. The Sirius Joy Nonlinear TV network is simulcasting right now on many media affiliates, including Instagram, X.com, and Facebook, just to name a few.
Aloha! I'm Mary, and I'm inviting you to experience the mystical world of the tarot with me. As a tree-hugging dirt worshiper, a retired wildlife biologist, and a sprite of the forest, my readings take you into the realms of elemental creativity to unearth a deeper awareness for those big decisions that you have in life. The first 50 viewers to email me with the coupon code below and book a reading will receive 50% off that reading. I can't wait to see what the cards have in store for you. Mahalo nui loa.
At Hair Intelligence, we believe that every strand of hair has its own voice and needs. By combining ancient wisdom with modern biochemistry, we create pure, organic solutions that work in harmony with your hair's natural biology for optimal hair health naturally. By choosing simplicity, sustainability, and science-backed natural solutions, we help our clients transform their hair, whether it's repair, regrowth, or simply radiant, healthy manes they seek.
All of her products have completely changed my hair. I like to call it magic in a bottle. If there's one thing that she knows, it's hair.
Before using Karen's products a few years ago, I struggled with various hair challenges, including alopecia, and now I've overcome them, and I've just fallen back in love with my hair.
Get your best hair with clean, organic products that are catered to your hair's unique health and longevity. Get 20% off your first purchase at Hair Intelligence by entering code SiriusJoy20 at checkout. Rediscover your hair's true potential.
We are encompassed in the physical body. We're encompassed in the mental and emotional and even our action states, and then also like our physical body and the health and the vibrancy of our physical body. And they're all connected. And we hear things like body, mind, spirit. And there's a lot of people teaching stuff about spirit, a lot of people teaching stuff about body, a lot of people teaching stuff about mind. I feel like I've been educated and have a lot of experience in all three of those things. And so I do bring them together in practices that we use meditation, we use psychological reprogramming, mostly in the form of asking ourselves questions to really excavate down into our psyche. And then once we do that, as I was explaining earlier, we find out where we are, like what's the transition that we're at. And then we use activity, we use movement, we use breath, we use chanting to embed the new program into our body. And that's sort of how I've evolved my practices, coming from, I have a degree in psychology and exercise science. I moved to California like you did, and just started a whole new life and created gyms. I owned gyms for a decade, including a yoga studio, a ballet bar studio, and I had two pretty big CrossFit gyms, and I was one of the top few hundred CrossFitters in the world for 6 years. And that's a sport of fitness. And I was using all this other stuff like mind, spirit in a physical playing ground. And I can kind of see how it's all connected. And as I was saying earlier, make it digestible for people to understand. And then I developed practices that we use to encode ourself with the direction that we would like to go as humans.
That was Raw of Earth. That's a preview clip, actually, of our show coming up on Saturday night, which will be at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Pacific, which is Astro Mingle. Raw of Earth and I have been doing a show every Monday for a long time called Astro Mondays. We were doing that together for 2 years, but Human Garage Network decided to shut down their TV network and move on, focus on other things. And so Ron and I are starting to work together in a new capacity. You'll catch that again Saturday night in our Astro Mingle. Nice clip there. Welcome, everyone, to Sirius Joy Alive. I'm Sensei Christopher Witecki, the Sensei to Sirius Joy, and here to help you come into your happiness. This is our newest show, a live show that goes Sunday through Thursdays. So this is our official Friday. We're all excited here and very tired on our staff. We've been working tirelessly to be here for you and really polishing out our new policies and our new procedures. We thank you for your patience, by the way. We are learning to bring everything around. But, when you're a low-budget studio, very low budget, with a full budgeted heart, you can only go so far on what you have. So thank you for your patience. We do appreciate you and your patience with us. We do feel, though, however, we're going to be running on time next week. I think so. Don't forget, this show will begin on Sunday. That's when we go live now. Sunday through Thursday is our new time for Sirius Joy Alive. You can catch us those 5 days, actually. And our Sunday show is more about spirituality, kicking off the week. It's a 2-hour show. Again, it starts at the same time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific. Runs until 6 p.m. Pacific. And then we have our weekly soul horoscopes, which I'm really excited to be presenting to you as well. So it's exciting new times. We're happy. But the times are harsh. Have you all been a little bitchy today? I've been a little cranky. We had step 9, moving on to step 10, Aquarius. We're now time to step into where we belong with ourselves. And where we belong with ourselves is loving ourselves, first and foremost. That's what we have to do. And I myself have been really trying to diagnose little moments in time where things don't go the way I want. And I find that if I go back in time and do some analysis, that it's like 7 beats back, I did not love myself first. And that led to this and led to that and led to this and led to that. So finally the train is, derailing, by midnight. And I think encourage you to do the same. Through the weekend, I won't be on the air, of course, but we will always have Sirius Joy. If you're not familiar with our service, we life coach you every minute of your life. That's at SiriusJoy.com. We'll have a podcast out tomorrow called the Pep Talk. And then this weekend, we have Gwendolyn English handling Pep Talk for weekends, diving into what is next. And what is next is going to be a killer full moon in Leo. A full moon in Leo at 13 degrees, which is a degreed Leo of Leo that is basically a cat fight, the cat fight degree. This is going to be really where people are going to, unfortunately, probably be at their wits' end as far as their heart being let down in life. And it's a tough full moon. I got to tell you, this is going to be a tough full moon. I think it's going to come down to a lot of breakups, a lot of separations from people. It takes sometimes the heart really getting involved for us to separate from someone that maybe we're emotionally comfortable with, but we're not happy with in our heart. And I can't say it enough. Like if you met a person at a time where you did not love yourself first, that is a ticking time bomb. It's going to have to be corrected. You've got to love yourself first and then step into the relationship. So kind of a funky time in that regard. But overall, I think things are going splendidly well. Really, really well. I think as far as friends I'm talking to and colleagues, people can feel that something's in the air. We can feel that things are going to change. And we can feel it's going to happen. It's going to happen, period. It's going to happen. We all feel it. Yay. Hello, everyone who's logged in. Thank you for our viewers who come in live. We appreciate you. It's nice doing TV with people. That's part of what we're here to do at Sirius Joy. And really the mission of this show, by the way, is to come together every day before the next day. I had spent 20 years of my career focused on today because I felt that the power was in the moment. But I found after 20 years that I wasn't prepared for the moment. I wasn't prepared. I was too busy in the moment to prepare for the next moment. And so now, I guess for this next 20 years, we'll be focusing on preparing for the moment. And that's what Sirius Joy Alive is, that we are here to prepare for tomorrow. And when we get here tomorrow, then SiriusJoy.com will take over and take the next steps forward. Well, how is everyone doing out there? The vibration is going to be a little sensitive this weekend, I'll tell you that. But we're here to answer your questions. In fact, this is a live reading show. If you're not familiar, we will do live readings here. Thank you for that, Christina. Energy is wild out there. Yeah. We do live readings on the show. If you'd like to purchase a live reading, you may. It's a great experience. I got to tell you, I have a long wait list, unfortunately, for private readings. And I get to them as fast as I can, but I have other things to do too in this lifetime. So if you need to have a question answered, if you want to give something as a gift to somebody, this makes a great gift. you can purchase readings at SiriusJoy.shop. SiriusJoy.shop will have the different readings we have available, and you can basically buy one right now and probably get read today, especially if you buy one right now, get read today, get your question answered today. It's a great way to check in and check in on yourself. It's also a great way to understand astrology. And we'll be doing that throughout the day. We'll be talking about different parts of astrology and what works and what doesn't. With that said, I'd say, hey, why don't we start the show here? And should we dive into a question right away, folks? Is that what we should do? I feel like that's what we're going to do. We're kind of on a limited time today because we had to do some own. Okay, gotcha. Because we had to do some fixes and things. Like I said, this will be a 2-hour show, but it'll have different commercials and segments in between. This show is designed also to be something you hang out with. When I was a kid, this time of the day was always spent on reruns. It'd be like MASH reruns and Friends reruns and Simpsons reruns, all these reruns. Instead of a rerun, why don't you get a current live edition of something that's designed to keep you company? It's designed to be in the background while you're finishing up work or you're in your commute. It's designed to be there for kind of as your friend and to hang out. And it's definitely designed to build our online community, which we're working very hard at right now, building a new community and new spaces for people to hang out. So I'm told we have our first question. So why don't we dive into our first question now? I think it comes on screen most likely. Sophia, a 0-degree Gemini sun, a 23-degree Sag ascendant, okay, and a 24-degree Cancer moon. You guys, have you seen how many 24s we've been getting in the last 2 days? Like this whole week has been a week of 23s and 24s. Interesting step numbers, really about relating and I imagine it's because you all are learning how to have a better relationship to yourself because you're really good at having relationships to others. Just my first theory. And the question is, what cycles am I completing? Well, that's a toughie. Let's see. Looking at your ascendant, with the ascendant of 24 degrees, we're focused on your natal chart mostly, but as a Gemini in general, you are going to be working a lot right now. I guess the word completing is a little too premature, Gemini. The truth of the matter is that we've got some ways to go. I would say that where you're on a real change of pace will be when Jupiter goes direct in Cancer. Right now, Geminis are learning that their emotions are very important for their self-worth. And so when a Gemini feels down and feels blue, they quite often associate with their mind because their mind is full of all sorts of negative Betty stories and, different self-talk that's not positive. And so you think, oh, your mind's the problem. Not really. Most of the time when we are depressed, it's an emotional issue. It is not a mental issue. The mind is actually responding to the feelings. It's not causing the situation. That's why no matter what you hear, no matter what you read about, no matter what people tell you, it doesn't help. It doesn't help. Hearing those things doesn't help. What will help is actually self-nurturing. And so what your chart is telling us is that you are learning to expand your understanding of what emotional nurturing is. And I think what's happened with that 24-degree Cancer moon is that you have really, abandoned yourself a long time ago for other people's feelings and for society's feelings and for the group's feelings and for the company's feelings or for the family's feelings. So, having done that, I think you found yourself in a position where you are not getting the emotional nurturing you need. On top of this, with a Sag ascendant at 23 degrees, it means that your moon is really focused in your 8th house. So it's kind of buried behind a lot of trust issues. And so I would say going forward, you're learning how to build emotional boundaries so you feel safe. And once you feel safe, you'll be able to feel positive about yourself. And once you feel positive about yourself, you'll be able to raise your soul capital or make more money or manifest more abundance or productivity. So I think that what's ending for you is that. The other aspect that's ending for you, I'll say, is the concept of your career and career karma. Geminis in general have all had issues with career. It has to do with decisions, has to do with relationship with your dad, relationship to your non-nurturing parent. And Saturn is now wrapping up those final decisions to commit to a legacy and commit to a future that you really believe in. And so I feel that you are ending those karmic issues around career, and you're moving into a new period, which has to do with defining yourself in the world in a new way. And this is where Geminis will be really focused on, in particular, is this new place of where you belong in the world. Geminis don't know where they belong. But if you'll notice, anywhere you go, you're accepted. And that's because you are sort of the glue that brings things together commonly when it comes to society and whatnot. You help us come together with our beliefs. You help us come together with our associations. I mean, I think Geminis do the communication and the backstory and the talking and the therapy necessary for people to come into their best. So what's ending is officially your career karma, and now it's moving on to a social karma. That's the big one. The other thing that is ending is your aloofness. Geminis have been chilling for a long time. Uranus in Taurus has kept you in the 12th house. You've been very subconscious, sort of hiding out, not really participating in society. And that's over. You're about to get kicked into society when Uranus goes into Gemini. That's in July. So this is your last 6 months, really, of focusing on faith and maintaining the faith and really developing a relationship to your intuition that is as strong as your relationship to logic. So I would say those would be the cycles I think are repeating. Thanks for the question, Sophia. I think it was a good one. All righty. All right. Ooh. Steve is a 22 degrees Pisces sun, step 22. Step 15 Scorpio ascendant, and a step 20 Libra moon. Well, the first thing I'll say, Steve, is that you are built. I want to give you permission to cause chaos. You are a disruptor. And I know you're probably going, what? I'm worried about disrupting people. I know you are. Okay. And it says, actually, this is part of your sun. I guess we'll start that with your question. Your question is, my sun and Uranus are both step 22 Pisces. Wow, Uranus is on top of your sun. That's crazy. How does my Uranus affect my sun? Well, let's dive into it. First of all, like I said, you're meant to be a disruptor. Now, we have a very famous disruptor right now in society. His name is Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a step 22 Gemini with Uranus conjunct his sun, just like you. And you notice how much he has disrupted, right? Disruption means that you get everyone moving around so that they find a new place to sit, right? So ideally, you are here to make some good disruptions. Now, in past lives, you probably made poor disruptions. And so you most likely were born emotionally sensitive and worried about upsetting people. And the reason why that you are still concerned about that is most likely due to your 20-degree Libra moon. You probably do not make distinctions between how you feel and how other people feel. And because you don't have a real roster of how you feel on the inside, you never quite know if you are picking up on yourself or picking up on someone else. So a good example of how to handle this is, let's say you're going to an event like a dinner party. Before you get into the dinner party, take a couple minutes with yourself in a very private space and ask yourself, how do I feel right now? What feelings are coming up? Do a nice roster of those feelings. And with each feeling that you have, kind of put them in a separate little goblet, a little separate little container in your mind. And then ask your feelings, okay, this is how I feel now. How do I seek to feel next? All right. And that's the 2-2 and the 22s. Those 22s are exactly that. How do I feel now? The first two. How do I intend to feel next? The second two. And so for yourself, you will not be able to operate that 22 unless you have done this exercise of knowing how you feel. Because then when you enter into the theater, you enter into the workplace or wherever it is you're going, you will then know right away that if you feel like, for instance, if you feel like the sense of evil, and just 5 minutes ago in the car, you did not feel that evil, well, you know immediately it's not you you're picking up on. You're picking up on someone else. And so the first stage of your awakening is that you make distinguishing understanding. You distinguish and understand between the two different sets of feelings, yours and someone else's. Once you've gotten quite good at neutralizing your feelings and giving them a path to go and putting boundaries around them to protect them, you're going to find that your ability to read others becomes incredible. All right. Already with a Scorpio rising at step 15 at 6, you are a person who can take in all the energies of the room. You can feel all the people in the room, and you can feel who is negative and who is positive. Now, I think what's happening right now is because you don't operate with good emotional boundaries, when you scan the room, you think you're the one feeling depressed. You think you're the one feeling certain things, and that's not the case. It's that you are picking up on the world, and you are wrongly assigning it as you. So once you are clear on how you feel, you become crystal clear on how someone else feels. All right. And in that capacity, that's what you're here to do. The sun conjuncting Uranus means two things. One, that you yourself don't know how to go past this mark of 22. You're good at 22. You're good at creating chaos, but that's it. You haven't learned how to lead people emotionally or heal people emotionally or guide people emotionally. You're sort of stuck in your own chaos. You keep recreating. And so what you're going to do with this, it tells me that you yourself are going to be evolving higher than 22, which means that if you are a person who does, let's say, help people find neutrality, that you might actually move higher than that neutrality and be more of a visionary for neutrality altogether. So you're working to be someone who knows something. And by knowing, you'll be able to do and express what you want to express. So with that said, with Uranus now conjunct 22, it means that the entire process of comparing feelings is going to elevate itself also. Right now, I don't know what age you are, but you're probably comparing feelings like we do with everyone compares feelings. This is sad. This is happy. This is, this is something else. But once we hit the 22 conjunct Uranus, we now have the capacity, or you have the capacity, to actually feel through space-time. So you have the capacity to take a feeling from your past life, bring it to your present, change it, and put it out there to alchemize the world. So you are an emotional alchemist, basically, is your trait. And don't forget to be mindful and open up your heart, because as you open your heart, you are able to manage things in a fair way. You're able to separate your issues from their issues. You're able to give consult on relationships and art and creativity. And so that 15 is going to help you to take the chaos you make and then make peace. So if I were to put it as succinctly as possible, I would say that you are here to make some major chaos. The messes you make are going to disrupt on a level like you cannot imagine. A good example of that would be Uber. Look at how Uber, an app on a phone, completely revolutionized the taxi business. Everyone now gets fares right away. There's no central person you call. You can pay by credit card right there. I mean, Uber was a disruptor. It disrupted all of the public transportation sectors and forced all of them to adopt Uber-like qualities, or perhaps be eaten alive or passed by Uber. So you are the same kind of person. You are going to be following your feelings on where you belong. And from that belonging, you're going to bring your Uranus with you. And you're going to end up really causing a lot of problems in life for other people. But those problems are problems they want to have help with. You'll be disrupting them and making them realize they feel this way about something, disrupting them and making them realize they're confident about something else. And so you are here to basically show up to your world and show up to your life with a clear emotional focus of yourself and on yourself. And from there, you'll be able to guide people through their own alchemy. So 22 conjunct Uranus 22 is a spiritual alchemist. You're here to help people take what they thought was bad karma or felt like bad karma and turn it into faith. You're here to transmute fear into faith. And I think that's a powerful, powerful thing to do. I wish I could do a follow-up with this reading, because interesting stuff is about you. You have a lot of interesting things about you. But I do want you to remember, if you don't get that time and space with your feelings in the morning and you separate your own stuff from others, it's possible you will chase your tail and try to help heal other people for the things you actually deal with. So get those boundaries in order, and we will go from there. Thanks for your question, Steve. It was a good one. This looks very familiar. Oh, a second question. Got it. Question 2. How will Saturn Aries affect my 14-degree Aries Venus? Well, at first it will not. It won't be until until Saturn hits 10 degrees Aries, you will not feel it on your Venus whatsoever. But you will feel that it's hard to open up to things, because you're going to feel like you're not sure where you belong. And the uncertainty of where you belong is basically what the lesson is from Saturn going from 0 to 14. Okay, so from Saturn to 0 to 14, you're trying to figure out what it is that I'm wrong about in my daily life. And it's in Aries. So what sort of behavior is wrong? What character issues are wrong? What character, wardrobe is wrong? Kind of a shallow level. But as you get to be older, you then will focus on actually, what's wrong from the perspective of the world, right? Finding that big picture of what's wrong. Finding that big picture of what's wrong with Congress. Big picture of what's wrong at the company, why you're not making the money you're supposed to. So you're here to process. And so as Saturn climbs up through these Aries degrees, you simply will be cutting away the immature aspects of ego and focusing on the mature aspects of ego. And the mature aspects of ego is we go. If I take a step, you should take a step too. We should never leave a person behind. We must go together. It cannot be just I go, as in the ego. So I think that, let's see, where will your Aries be? That is actually in your, Ascendant is 23, so 20, Ascendant Scorpio, 15 Scorpio Ascendant. So yeah, I'm just doing the math in my head to see where your Saturn ends up. And it looks like it is just before the cusp of, 14 degrees Aries. So it's just before the third house cusp. So basically, Saturn in Aries is going to be affecting your ability to manifest money more than anything, and manifest value. And that money and value will come from your conscious awareness of how much you appreciate yourself and care for yourself. So you are a fighter, but you're a fighter that needs a spiritual element as well. The last thing I will say too, Steve, is that you have to be very compassionate to your own feelings. Your feelings are more than just an emotion. They're more than just a memory. They are you picking up on things psychically. They are you picking up on wisdom from the past. And so, for you going forward, the most important thing to do is to get a bunch of tools in your skill set that allows you to take your feelings that feel one way and help them transmute and feel another way. That is going to prepare you for your authority here on Earth. But you've got a little time to work on that, so I wouldn't worry about it. Thank you, Steve. Hope that helps. All righty. So let's take our first quick commercial, if you don't mind. We'll be right back. We have some more readings and some more intel for you. If you're watching us on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at SiriusJoytv. Please click like on this video, and if you don't mind, hit the bell button so you're notified, so we collectively defeat the algorithm overlords. The Sirius Joy nonlinear TV network is simulcasting right now on many media affiliates, including Instagram, X.com, and Facebook, just to name a few. Hello, folks. I am back and here tonight with Ra of the Earth, a good buddy of mine that have done a show together for about 2 years. And Ra, you describe yourself as an educator, embodied in practical terms such as breath, human potential, and psychology. And I know you're going, these three random things put together, but how do you explain you in that? What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, we really would need a whole entire paragraph or book to explain ourselves. And so like getting it into 8 words is those are the words that I chose to essentially mean that we are encompassed in the physical body. We're encompassed in the mental and emotional and even our action states. And then also like our physical body and the health and the vibrancy of our physical body. And they're all connected. And we hear things like body, mind, spirit, and there's a lot of people teaching stuff about spirit, a lot of people teaching stuff about body, a lot of people teaching stuff about mind. I feel like I've been educated and have a lot of experience in all 3 of those things. And so I do bring them together in practices that we use meditation, we use psychological reprogramming, mostly in the form of asking ourselves questions to really excavate down into our psyche. And then once we do that, as I was explaining earlier, we find out where we are, like what's the transition that we're at. And then we use activity, we use movement, we use breath, we use chanting to embed the new program into our body.
All right. That was Ra of Earth, one of my buddies who we were working together for a long time on the Human Garage Network for a while, 2 years actually, doing Astro Mondays. People go, where are you guys? Where's Astro Mondays? Well, we're working on something. We're cooking something up, but that's an interview that'll be live for Astro Mingle this Saturday night at our new time, which is 11 p.m. Eastern. I give you this 8 p.m. Pacific. Boy, I got to get those times down for myself. And we're answering questions for you, y'all. If you're not familiar, we answer questions here. This is a question answer show, among other things, and a showcase of all of Sirius Joy's glorious work. If you'd like to purchase a reading, you can. We got quick ones, affordable ones, things that are great. Come on down to SiriusJoy.shop, SiriusJoy.shop, and you'll find out what you can purchase. We have more stuff coming out. It's going to be a great time. And I got to tell you also, have you seen yet the Countdown 2026 webinar? This webinar, which is at newyears.guru, is going to get you a nice guidance through the rest of the year. We've got a shift load of turbulence coming up, folks. I mean, get prepared. We have a lot coming down the pipeline, and that webinar is going to help you through every month, giving you the formulas and what I call the way dates to help you stand into your power this year. We also have a new enchanted calendar, which is awesome. We'll have some shots of that here soon, but that calendar allows you to import onto your basic iPhone calendar all of the dates for the whole year, all of the major Love Fest days, all of the step changes, all the times of step changes. Everything is there. And it's just one price for one download, and boom, you're in Lake Flint. So check those both out. They're both tools to help you along the way. All right. Sorry, I know we tried to slide in that reading. Let's go ahead and do that reading next. Anne or Annie. Okay, gotcha. So 12-degree Aquarius sun. So Anne is a 12-degree Aquarius sun with a 0 Scorpio rising. So many zeros going on today. It's like, I cannot believe all the zeros. And a 20-degree Aries moon. I'll say right now that you are basically a student of life, a student of ascension. But that 0 Scorpio rising, that's kind of suspect. That means you probably have some magic under your belt. And a 20-degree Aries moon means you've got some turbulent energy too that you can use at your disposal. The question is, last fall nearly destroyed me. Nearly doesn't count. Faith got me through. Good. Things are looking amazing for 26-27. I would be grateful for any of your intuitive advice or guidance over the next 3 to 4 months as I relaunch and rebuild. I wonder what you're relaunching. That's interesting. Well, for the Aquarius, and let's look at for your rising sign. So Scorpio rising means that your sun is in the 4th house. And so you are a person who ultimately has got to raise the vibration of your home. Your home and your nurturing is too low wattage for what you want to do. So if you have this relaunch plan, that means that you basically have these big plans for how things are going to grow and evolve and unfold in your life. And they cannot grow if your emotional foundation is not solid. So right now with the sun in Aquarius, you are focusing on greater bandwidth when it comes to self-nurturing. That means that for less effort, you get more comfort. All right. This is the ability to process emotion. This is the ability to turn emotion into positivity instead of negativity. This is your capacity to connect to your family members and connect to other people who you call your extended family. And this part of you, again, is not strong enough or rich enough to handle part of the dreams that you have. So the first thing I'm getting is a lot of self-investment. 0-degree Scorpio rising means that you ultimately have got to always be mindful of your boundaries and where things begin and end. I don't know if you caught the last question I just answered, but I talked about how to process feelings, you have to know how you feel and how you want to feel and give yourself a nice bridge in between the two. And that is something that's very important. I bring all this up because your capacity to manage your feelings equals the potential of your success. So if you don't have an emotional consequence tied to every task, then you're not emotionally aware enough to succeed, all right, and draw in the abundance that you deserve. So I think in the next month or so, what you're going to find is that you kind of put in some new foundation. Then when we go into Pisces, you're going to worry about and focus on your ability to, how do we put this, manifest personal dreams, which you've had a lot of issues with, unfortunately, about having what your heart wants and expressing your heart to its fullest extent. But that will be a very powerful moment because I think part of the old you and the new you, and is that the old you maybe went for your personal dreams and failed, and so became reluctant and shy around following the heart. And the new you is very experienced and very aware and ready now to explore what your heart wants. So I can say that the next 2 months are about foundation building, listening to your heart, and then it moves into daily lifestyle. And once we get to Aries, that daily lifestyle is going to be shaken up, okay? It's possible that you will change jobs or location of your vocation, or perhaps you might have a new tier of your daily life kind of open up. If you're wondering if you should go ahead and do an expansion of life, the answer is yes. Any expansion of your home or family would be good. Any expansion of your daily life and the quality of your daily life would also be good. So it's good or gooder there. And the moon at 20 degrees Aries is a powerful one. And it tells us that you are emotionally very sensitive and a little detached from your emotions. And we already know that. You have Aquarius ruling the 4th house. But it appears that you probably don't take enough time to let the feelings really sit with you and like digest what their feelings are telling you. I think you have a tendency to push them away and not process them because they're icky and they're heavy. And it probably reminds you of a certain childhood, your childhood. I would imagine your childhood was not at the level it needed to be to raise such a gifted child as you. So part of your lesson is to learn how to provide for yourself. And now's the time to do just that. So 3-4 month launch or something else. Yeah, something else that's coming up for me too, for you is in your 11th house. So there's a social issue dealing with what you want to do. So what I'm feeling is that there's a conflict between what your heart wants and what society will tolerate. And the truth of the matter is it's a little bit of both. It's on the one hand, your heart is wanting certain things based on your failures in the past, not based on your successes. And that's one problem. So you're aiming for a subtly not correct direction. And then the other aspect too, I think is important that's coming up is that you're not going to attract the people you want in your life, the people that are important in the social world that you need to have, unless you are in fact really focused on emotional contentment. If you're emotionally content, you're going to draw on the people that you deserve. If you emotionally are not malcontent and not feeling good, then you're going to draw on people that cause a problem. And that line really has to do with whether or not you put in that prep time. But boundaries are very important for you. And from what I can tell, you mostly shut down by default, then are shut open by default. So take some time every morning to open your feelings, let them breathe, work through the emotional turbulence, and then I think you'll be very clear on where you're headed. Yeah. And if you're heading for a career, it looks like it's based on caring for yourself. So you're going to somehow take your skills as a mother or a wife or a father or a husband, and you're going to transmute those into skills of life. So you can get started right now by developing your own patterns of how to manage your feelings, because everything you come up with how to manage yours is probably going to turn into a book or a product in the future. That's what it feels like. All right. Hope that helps, Ann. Excuse me, guys. I'm having some voice issues today. All right. Our next question is to Jennifer, a 6-degree Leo sun. It's a Libran sun, so to speak. It's a Libra-ish sun. So very back and forth with a focus on yourself. 29-degree Aqua ascendant. Wow. You can come to fight some sort of battle, right? Something big, something profound and triumphant. And then lastly, that Virgo moon at 26 degrees. All right. So the question is, what should I initiate now with Neptune and Saturn in Aries versus wait on? Oh, interesting. Good question. Let me think for a second as I grab some water. Well, first of all, with the 29 Aqua rising, that means you have 20-degree Leo, 20-degree Leo descendant. And so that puts your Aries energy, let's see here, Aqua, Pisces. So Aries energy is actually in the second house. So basically, it is time now for you to go forward and develop the parts of yourself that you value the most. It's time to invest in yourself and what you value the most. The issue is that your self-worth is based on a time that does not apply anymore. So all of your confidence and all the ways you've always felt good about yourself, those ways should not be on your resume. And so you're going to be first by getting rid of certain actions or behaviors or attitude or cock block kind of energy of Aries that keeps you from really valuing who you are. And I think to some degree, you are quick to give it away as a step 6. And because you are a Leo, you have tremendous amounts of love, but I think it's all pouring out the door and going to other people. So what's going to happen now with this initiation is it's now time to take complete control of your self-worth and confidence, which means it's time to take complete control over your ability to make money and be abundant, which means that you're really beginning a financial transit. Now, it should be stated that if you're starting a business or something like that, you will not be profitable probably for about 2 years, just so you know. I'm not trying to put a sentence around you. I just think that's what it's going to take ultimately because you're figuring out some new stuff. However, you're going to have tremendous intuition and insight and ability to see the things that people don't see, and particularly make the products and services that we need but don't know we need. So I would say that, what you should initiate are any kind of ways of making yourself feel more valuable, making investments in yourself, putting time and energy in yourself for, the right reasons, the ones your heart loves. And that particular initiation of focusing on your self-worth based on the things you love, that initiation is going to turn into most likely your business idea or your mission. So go forward with the new self-worth, go forward with those new attitudes, go forward with your capacity to invest in something, but take it one step at a time. Okay. Your old investment plan was based on ego and based on achievement and based on victory. This one's going to be based on impressing yourself and outgrowing yourself. So when you make a choice for business, choose the job that's not physically hard, but perhaps is challenging nonetheless. You need the challenge. And if you don't do it, you just come home on the couch and you pass out. So I think it's time now to deliberately put yourself into a world of challenge. That the Aquarius ascendant at 29 degrees, however, that is your soul has probably been in Atlantis, probably part of the Lemuria-Atlantis conflict, and it feels more Atlantean. But you were greatly responsible for some of the things that went down there. And that's just because you probably let things go without questioning them. But you're going to find that in this lifetime, you are really going to toe the line between the fraud and the genius, so to speak. As you no longer fraud yourself and lie to yourself and give yourself the things you actually need, you're going to see the people who are full of you know what. And so I think you should go ahead and initiate going forward this idea that you're here to find and identify those types of people, not take it personally that you're attracting them. Yeah, because they're part of your students and part of your circle. I hope that helps. We went a few places we didn't expect to go there, but I was following psychic ability. Thank you. Ooh, I'm having a hard time just staying calm today. It's funny. Okay. All right. So Michael wants some good news to look forward to. He's a 14-degree Gemini. That's a grandmaster with a moon at 5 degrees Aries. All right. Does not know his ascendant. Okay. But Mercury's in the 12th house. All right. So that's good to know. That means that your ascendant is 15 or above. So good news. No kidding. For one, the good news is you are ready to make some money, Michael. So I don't know how you make money or how you draw it in, but it's a good time to get started on a project. Good time to move forward with an investment idea. Good time to consolidate your debt and try to get down, knock it down. But you need to know that you're not necessarily going to be subjected to the other conditions that people go through with money right now, because you're talking about Jupiter have helped you, and Jupiter's helping you to understand and expand differently. But also, it's real easy for you to overinvest and spend too much money on something that doesn't have a stronger return. So be frugal and be sharp. And I think what you're going to find is that by the end of the year, you are feeling very much capable of making money and performing well in the material world. And that's when you're going to begin to change a shift of plans and start to focus on the way you talk to yourself, because that's going to be a big issue for all of y'all who are Gemini. So you got to talk to yourself with far more love. Now, you are a 14-degree Gemini. You are love to belonging. And 14 belongs loving themselves. So take some time and love yourself some more. Harnessing that self-love is going to help you to avoid mistakes in the future like you have taken here. But also, I think it's going to help you to understand and believe in what you're spiritually picking up on, because you are going to be a very psychic person when your walls come down and you're able to really breathe and accept reality for what it is. But I think that helps. I hope that helps, Michael. Yeah. So was that good news? Yeah, money is good news always. Do the same question, or is that good for him? Okay. All right, Tanner. Well, look at all these Geminis today. Tanner is a step 23 Gemini. That's a net 5. So you're a grandmaster Gemini. You have a natural knowing and understanding of how society works when you were born. So that's pretty powerful. You are 23 Gemini ascendant. So that's also powerful. It means that the words you assemble together form value, and that value forms control. And so you are an intellectual property leader, if you will. You're a person who finds something interesting and kind of gobbles it up, intellectual property. And once you gobble up that interesting intellectual property, you reprocess it for other people. Now, the 4-degree ascendant Taurus, the 4-degree Taurus moon is also very interesting, because it means that emotionally you don't quite love yourself or stay on the side of loving yourself. Your feelings can go all over the map, or maybe you take on the side of the other person who's in conflict with you, or you just sort of throw your hands in the air and say, I give up. So emotionally, you're a little unstable, but it's going to lead to stability. We'll talk about that. The question is, what patterns am I meant to outgrow in this lifetime? Well, you know what? Actually, I cannot answer that question like I'd like to, because I have to have your full chart to know that, to know what patterns you're doing. But I will tell you a couple of things I can tell right here. One pattern is for you to be dismissive of your feelings. You belong with your feelings. And I know you don't like to feel them because they make you feel insecure and they make you feel invaluable. They make you feel like you are not worth anything. But the reason why they feel that way is because whenever you feel that way, you do nothing. So you've come to a point where you have no choice but to move forward and be your best friend to your own heart, and to really know where your heart stands in any matter. Because I think that indecision of knowing where your heart stands on a certain matter keeps you from seeing the options in the future of where you want to go. Uncertainty on the inside brings uncertainty on the outside. And I think, to outgrow, one of them would be to let go of this very, very, how do I put this? Holding on to things emotionally that really don't serve you in the big picture. Okay, we're Jen's chart. We got Jen's chart actually too. That's the last call. All right, cool. So yeah, this is same. Is Tanner's name Jen? Gotcha. Jean's chart. Okay, interesting. All right, so that's okay. Gotcha. They're telling me about next question. Sorry, y'all. Let me just pick into if I pick up anything extra about outgrowing stuff. Yeah, initially, you are emotionally insecure, okay? And that's what you're going to outgrow the most. It's time to become familiar with emotions and feelings. They won't hurt you. They will aggravate you like crazy, though, but they will not hurt you. So I would say, as far as outgrowing, outgrowing this idea of needing total privacy, this idea that, the world's toxic and you don't go outside as a result. Get rid of that, because that's not true. You're going to outgrow it. You're going to find with your own talent that all those things you were assuming was incorrect and you were just assuming. So I feel like the biggest pattern will probably be this emotional shutdown that you have, where with a 4-degree Taurus moon, you end up shutting down, not processing, and therefore not knowing where to go and how to map it. That's the biggest trap I think you have going on for you right now. All right. Ooh, cross-eyed. How are we doing? Okay. Our next question. Thank you. Jean. Okay, our next question is Jean. Let me just pull up this person's chart here. Our last question. Let's see here. In the doc. Oh, no chart for Jean. Got you. Okay. We're going to make messages from our control room. All right. Jean has a 24-degree Pisces sun. See, guys, these 24s. All over the map. 12-degree Pisces moon, 5-degree Scorpio rising. Interesting. We got to get risings and moons in the same order, y'all. Okay, so will I keep guardianship, custody of my step-grandson currently living with me? Okay, so Spirit says no. Spirit says no. That's Spirit. I haven't looked at the astrology yet to understand why that would be. Well, first of all, that child has got to also be influenced by other people in the family besides yourself. So if you're losing that to the natural born parent, that is definitely the way it was meant to be. It's good to have breaks. It's good to have grandmas that help us out and take us out of that context of where we are. But the soul contract is between that child and their mother. And so I'm picking up basically that there's going to be conflict around it in the sense of it doesn't feel like a judge. It feels like an arbitrator, but basically someone who's making decisions. It feels like a state person who's making decisions. Be wary of that. Spirit says the person making decisions for the state. It's not the judge. It's someone in between. That person is taking certain liberties with you you're unaware of. And so it's sort of like they sized you up a certain way and that was it. So you might have to poke around and see kind of what that's about. Make sure that you're well represented in that area. Make sure that they got their questions right when they reported back the first time and that the report is very good. And I think it'll be very clear to you exactly why things aren't going to work out the way you want them to work out. Now, it's probably very disappointing to hear that, but probably not surprising either. Surely, this isn't the child you gave birth to. So your time with this person is limited anyways. People have to move on with their lives and go forward. I think to some degree too, with that 24-degree Pisces sun, you just want everyone to get along. You just want everything to go smooth sailing. And so as a result, you quite often will ignore or swallow conflict that you're getting. So it feels like that whoever's threatening with the child, whether it's an ex-husband or ex-wife or whatever, I don't know if I have the child's best interest, but they do like when the child takes first interest in them. And so what you have to do is find a way with boundaries for your child to spend quality time with this person, but not for it to deeply affect your child's disposition. But you should know, says Spirit, that this conflict that you're feeling in your home and family, this is what the child is used to in past lives. So your child is not confused or being damaged or traumatized as much as you might want to think they are. Make sure they don't manipulate you with those ideas. But overall, the step-grandson has a soul contract. And so I do see this being able to maintain a visiting schedule where you see this child regularly and get to still be in their life. But it feels like this child is ready to start really absorbing the truth of their karma. And you don't want to get in the way of that, right? I'm wondering if you have a relationship yourself, because it feels like if you don't have a relationship, you're meant to have one. And if you are in a relationship, it's going to go through a change or a swap out, just so you know. So I'm feeling that very strongly too. Yeah, the last thing I'll say is just with the Scorpio rising at 5 degrees, be careful of how you think about yourself, because how you think of yourself colors the entire spectrum. And you can change on the dime. You can think of yourself as amazing and think of yourself as poor, and you'll see the energy shift almost immediately of those thoughts. So you're a very strongly mentally led person who is actually an empath. You're an intellectually led empath is what you really are. Hope that helps, Jean. All right, folks. Woohoo! That was our last question, actually, for the day. Where we're on our TRT. So horoscopes, that's right. So we want to talk about this weekend. We are going to be live this weekend on our new times and airing periods. First of all, we have on Saturday night, you will see two great shows that come on. One, we have our, I just realized I was pitching the wrong time. Let's get backwards. We have Astro Mingle, which we've been showing you here. Clips with Rob. Rob Earth is going to be talking to me about what he does and how our disciplines and what we do overlap. Plus, we get really deep in that show talking about theories of life, heaven, that sort of thing. That will be on at 10 p.m. Eastern, which is 7 p.m. Pacific time. Then following that, we have on Saturday night, we'll have LOL with Scott and myself. We had a great LOL session, by the way. Saturday night is going to be intense. The show Scott and I do is extremely intense and has a lot of controversial political discussion in it. Now, it's not political in the sense of, he's right, she's wrong. It's political in the sense of how politics themselves are sick and how we have been distracted from our truth. So catch us on Saturday night with that. And then we'll be back on Sunday with Soul Horoscopes. If you don't know, our Soul Horoscopes is now moved to Sunday evenings, and it follows immediately after our new SJ Sirius Joy Live. So we'll be talking about next week's scopes, and we're talking about this Sunday, how we're now preparing for that full moon in Leo, and what that's going to mean for everybody, and it means as far as our kitty cat temper tantrums. Either way, all that's a fabulous weekend. Remember, just kind of fun starts at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Saturday for 2 hours. And then the fun starts for 3 hours on Sundays with this live show at 4 p.m. Pacific, which is 7 p.m. Eastern. And it ends at 6 p.m., which is 9 p.m. Eastern. And then we move on to Soul Horoscopes after that on Sunday night. So it's going to be a power-packed weekend for you. I know my tongue is a little tongue-tied here. It's been a long week for us, a long week for me. But I want to say thank you to everyone who is part of this show. We will be back on Sunday streaming and talking about what's next. I would say that the personal journey is about complete in the sense of we've all seen who we really are. We've all been given the opportunity to heal. And that really does end after we go through this weekend. That 13-degree full moon in Leo does indicate two things. It indicates, one, you are complete now with your transition on your inside. There'll be some working out the details. But for the most part, there's not going to be any hard karma with us as an individual. So that's good news. But on the other side, it does mean that the battle with the earth does begin. It means that suddenly people are going to be upset with who they are or what's going on, and they're going to want a new life ahead of them. And so this is where starting next week, the conflict begins. So the great story that you were born to live begins next week. I call it Lifetime 2. All right, friends. Well, that's all we have for today's episode. Again, we're off the air tomorrow, off Saturday, and back on Sunday. Until then, I want you to have a great weekend. Relax, soak it in, love yourself, and live, love, be. If you're watching us on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at SiriusJoytv. Please click like on this video, and if you don't mind, hit the bell button so you're notified so we collectively defeat the algorithm overlords. The Sirius Joy Nonlinear TV network is simulcasting right now on many media affiliates, including Instagram, X.com, and Facebook, just to name a few.
Since 1995, Sichi has infused every product with love. Our star is Sichi Cream, made with kombucha tea, organic and wild-crafted herbs, and essential oils. Its fresh citrus scent appeals to both men and women. Age gracefully with our rehydrating facial serum. Made with organic sea buckthorn berry extract, giving your face a healthy glow. Your skin will love you. Scan the QR code on your screen now for 20% off with promo code LOL.
We are moving into the third decan of Aquarius, and this vibration is the high vibration of life. This is as high as it can go, so to speak, energetically and for our ascension purposes. Now, of course, you must know that when the sun is in Aquarius, the earth is in Leo. And so in order for us to get to this high vibration, we've got to love it, really love it. And so although you're focused on maybe the precision of what you want, getting exactly what you want and fine-tuning it, it's really about how much love is involved. Because if you throw a lot of love in that direction, it's going to rock. Seriously. Now, over the week, we'll move from step 20 to step 26. This means that we'll emotionally be vulnerable on one spectrum of our life. That vulnerability will be to frequency and vibration. So you may just finally be over it, frequently hearing about this or always vibing about that. And don't be too surprised if you're not a cranky bear in the first 3 or 4 days of this, because we've had shutdown of our emotions this whole transit. Aquarius allows us to go cold. So when it hits, sometimes it can be really a hot front. And on top of this, all of this, we have actually Mercury and Pisces coming together with a North Node conjunction. This is giving us a commandment to, quite frankly, be compassionate to ourselves. But it's a 9-degree commandment. That means that the ego is telling us or yelling at us to be good to us. So it's going to be kind of inside-out behavior. I'm thinking that it might be triggering for many people for the first 3 or 4 days. We'll talk about that in your horoscope. But I also think it's going to be a very fascinating moment, because I think we will get a glimpse of what the future may hold. And I don't feel like we've had the ability to see the future, especially as psychics and mystics. We've all talked about it. There's a blind spot we haven't been able to see past whatever corner God has created. I think this is common whenever things happen, but really everyone on the planet is up for some sort of a holy shift kind of moment, and it might be during this actual week.